When you talk about too many immigrants here, how can you as a vice president stand there and say that we have too many of them now and we are going to take them out?
Just because one person or 10 people or 100 people came in legally and contributed to the United States of America, does that mean that we're thereby committed to let in 1 million or 10 million or 100 million people a year in the future? No, that's not right.
Okay, Vice President Vance using some rhetorical tricks there to avoid the seminal issue. Does America need immigrants or not? I think the answer is obviously yes, always have, always will, never more than we do right now. What's the other side? COO of Turning Point Action is Tyler Bowyer, and he joins me right now. Good to see you, young man.
Chris, good to see you.
So, legal immigration, what's the problem?
Well, the vice president pretty much nailed it, which is that there is a huge problem in America with illegal immigration. And part of that is looking at how many people have come into this country and aren't properly being coming through the front door of the country. And so part of that issue is in the Biden administration, you saw well over 10 million people coming to this country. Mm-hmm. And under a portion of that, quite a few illegal immigrants, and that's a huge problem. And so, I'm
with you on the illegal one. I'm with you on the illegal problem. The Democrats exacerbated it. Of course, there's a little bit of a head fake going on here. Most illegal immigration are visa overstays, which is another part of the problem of how law enforcement is done. A lot of the people who are here illegally come by plane, not across the southern border, but there's something menacing about people coming across the border that I think triggers phobias. But the legal immigration, JD says, why are we committed to having all these people come in the future legally? Because we need them, Tyler. You got 7.5 million open jobs right now, many in the manufacturing sector. Our birth ratio is down. Our birth to death ratio is down. We need immigrants in this country. Why make the case that you don't need them unless you're just trying to push xenophobia?
Well, it's not xenophobic to talk about how over a quarter of all the immigrants in America are illegal. And I equate it
illegal.
Yeah, illegal.
I'm talking about legal. He says he wants to cut legal immigration.
To the point that you're making is that how are you ever going to push Americans into doing the jobs and training for the jobs that we need them to do if you keep relying on the crutch of both legal and illegal immigrants? And I use the analogy of if a quarter of all of the moviegoers that are in your theater are coming in and not paying for a ticket, how long before the paying ticket holders revolt and really get upset because of the increasing costs of that movie ticket price? And that's part of what the vice president.
I got it, Tyler. I don't love the metaphor, but I'll stick with that analogy because you made it. Look, the ticket price is going up. Yes, we have affordability issues. That is not because of legal immigration or even illegal immigration, I would argue. I would argue that for all the boogeymen about illegal immigrants, the employers that decide to do it the right way, and we never talk about the employers, the people who coax them in, the people who don't pay them, the people who make unsafe work conditions for them, they never get prosecuted. Just the people desperate enough to come here for those jobs get prosecuted and demonized. But they still pay in more than they take out, even with this boogeyman of illegals getting health care, which is 1% of the Medicaid budget. But the legal immigrants, here is the change to your analogy, and I'll give you the last word, Tyler. Sure. You need them because the people in the movie theater, okay, they are all doing the jobs that they can. Americans don't want to do the jobs that are open. You cannot force them to do those jobs. They must be trained to do the jobs in the new economy. And people who are low-skilled labor will do those, and other people will have better skills and they will do more. But the idea that you don't need the people here seems to be a recipe for our failure.
Yeah, I mean, that's just hasn't been proven to be true yet. I mean, emerging technology exists to actually make lives easier. And if you're relying on the crutch of low grade illegal and legal immigration without, again, the vice president stated it correctly, policies that are decades old, you're never going to be able to catch up. And so, there is a forward-thinking viewpoint that the vice president has that's really great. And that's why he's, so fast on his feet, especially on this topic, is that the next 4 years, the next 8 years, especially under our President Vance, is going to show that you have the ability to not rely on both legal and illegal immigration to do jobs that are low grade. And unfortunately, we've been kind of deceived into thinking that are absolutely necessary to push onto immigrants. Those are things that we should be looking at: the Trump gold card system, the best, the brightest, the bright, to come to this country and be able to immediately contribute as forward-thinking Americans, just like the vice president talked about.
And I see it as a both proposition. You have some people who come in and then their sons and daughters wind up being very elevated, as with my family, only here 2 generations. And then you have other people who need to do the job, unless you want to make a pitch that will use AI and innovation to take those jobs away and make them robotic. I think that's a tough sell to the American people. But I appreciate you coming on. Let's keep the conversation going. Tyler, I'm happy that Turning Point is pursuing its mission, and I'm happy to have you here. We'll talk again.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.